Now, Julius Malema just called Cyril Ramaphosa a failure and a coward, and he had a lot of things to say in regards to the meeting that took place in Washington between Ramaphosa and Donald Trump. But before we get into all those details and how he clapped back, why don't we start by watching this video together?
I will never be intimidated by America. I will never be intimidated by Donald Trump. They were speaking about me in that meeting at White House. If they were not gossiping about me, they should have called me into that meeting. I would have answered everything that Donald Trump wanted from us. Banchaba baseba kanna batho ba baholo ka dikhoneng ba tya transport ba ya kwa America ba yo bua ka nna slege. If they are not scared of me, call me into that meeting. That nonsense that Trump did in America, he will never do that nonsense in my presence, because I will confront him here and there with the facts.
All right, so that's Julius Malema yesterday. Well, he visited Ward 16 in Kwakatsi, the Free State. And if anyone actually thought that Malema was going to let this slide, that he would witness two presidents discussing him in the Oval Office and absolutely say nothing about it, then maybe you do not know Julius Malema. But yesterday, he opened his speech by saying that he will not be intimidated. And if you remember last week, we analyzed the whole situation between Ramaphosa and Donald Trump. But what Malema is saying is that he will not be intimidated, and the best thing they could have done actually was to call him in this particular Oval Office and ask him these questions, because he would have confronted Donald Trump with the facts. We are about to listen to the part where Malema addresses Ramaphosa, and he tells, he says Ramaphosa could not even factually check Donald Trump. He was showcasing the wrong images of South Africa. He was talking about mass graves in South Africa, and Ramaphosa sat there and said absolutely nothing about it. Now, last week when we were analyzing this whole situation, you do remember that a lot of you had a couple of mixed reactions in regards to the same. There are some people who thought that Ramaphosa was being diplomatic. This is a man who knew what he was doing, and some people are actually applauding him because they say that by just playing cool and being diplomatic, he was able to expose the evil character of Donald Trump to the entire world, right? But then there are some people who thought that, some of these facts should not have gone unchecked. There are so many things that Trump got wrong, and instead of people just sitting there and letting him blah, blah, blah and talk left, right, and center, they should have actually factually checked Donald Trump. But this conversation is about Malema clapping back. So let's take a look at the facts and what he said about it.
Ramaphosa could not present the facts in front of Donald Trump. You've got a coward president. He left here. Ariana, he won't be bullied. When he arrived there, he was shaking. Atatazela, Achaba Donald Trump, another president scared of another president. Donald Trump said to him, when you say farmers, you mean white people. He kept quiet. Farmers do not mean white people. They are black farmers. They are white farmers. Ramaphosa is a farmer himself. He should have said to Donald Trump, no, farmers are not white. I'm a farmer myself. I am not white. Why didn't he present that simple fact before Donald Trump? Why didn't he say there are so many people killed in South Africa and majority of them are blacks? There is no white genocide in South Africa. Bambonchatsila with crosses, he opens his eyes in shock. I know South Africa with my eyes closed. He's unable to tell Donald Trump that is not a picture of South Africa. This picture does not belong to us. We don't have mass graves. We don't have mass graves of white people in South Africa.
Right, so that's him in regards to the facts. And just over the weekend, there are so many people who are fact-checking Donald Trump, the way he used images from DRC Congo and insinuated that those are images of the genocides happening in South Africa. So many people factually checking this person. So when Malema says that you are a president that is being bullied by another president, you could not even answer back or clap back and say, you know what, I am a farmer. We all know Ramaphosa is a farmer in South Africa. So what actually prevented him from saying, you know what, I am also a farmer, I am black, etc., etc., But Malema also was not shy of speaking of his arrest, When we watched that clip last week, you remember Donald Trump saying, why is this man not arrested? Actually, let's take a look at that together.
Why wouldn't you arrest that man? That man said, kill the white farmers, kill the white farmers. And then he danced, and he's dancing, and it's kill the white farmers.
Yeah, so that's Donald Trump right there asking why, Julius Malema has not been arrested. But what did Malema have to say about this? Let's take a look.
Comrades, Donald Trump says to him, hey Ramaphosa, why are you not arresting this Julius Malema? Why is this Julius Malema not in jail? He can't respond with a simple fact that this song, Kill the Poor, Kill the Farmer, was approved by the Constitutional Court. We are a constitutional democracy. We must defend the decision. He failed to defend the Constitutional Court. By failing to defend the Constitutional Court, it means he failed to protect the Constitution. And when you fail to protect the Constitution as a president of the country, you have failed in your primary duty of defending the sovereignty of South Africa. Ramaphosa is a failure, but you must understand one thing. When Trump says, why is this man not in jail? Why is this man not arrested? He simply means, why is this man not dead? Why are you not killing this man who wants to kill for white people? In that White House, my ticket was taken out. They called for my life with an attempt to silence me. They will never kill me again because where I am dead. Because black people are dead. Black people have got no dignity. Black people have got no human rights. Black people cannot determine their own destination. They are waiting on the white supremacists to tell them which direction to take. What is this life we are living of being cowards? I'm not going to be silenced by threat of violence. I'm not going to be silenced by threat of death. When you say don't jail him, Ramaphosa should have said, in South Africa we don't jail people like that. There are courts in South Africa, and the courts have said there is nothing wrong with this song. This is not my song. I did not compose this song. I found this song. The struggle heroes composed this song. All I'm doing is to defend the legacy of our struggle. This is a heritage of our struggle. This is the song that was sung by Peter Mokaba in the presence of Chris Hani, in the presence of Winnie Mandela. And therefore, I will never stop singing a song that Winnie Mandela sang before she died. That will be a betrayal to the struggle of our people.
Wow, and if you think that the criticism that Malema has faced because of this song, Kill the Boer, Kill the Farmer, you would think he would just actually take a seat back and reflect. But he says, you know what, there's nothing for me to reflect about. There's nothing I can change about this. This is a song that has historical lessons. And this is something that our people sang during the struggles. And no matter how many people are criticizing him, no matter how many people are saying, you know what, this song is likely to cause tensions or it's likely to incite people towards a white genocide, he says, I do not actually care. And if you think that he would do otherwise, he sang to the same song yesterday during his visit to Ward 16. Let's take a look.
Shoot to kill. Kilama. Shoot to kill. Yamasa. Kill the poor, the farmer. Kill the poor, the farmer. I repeat, kill the poor, the farmer. Kill the poor, the farmer.
Yeah, so that's him right there yesterday during this whole visit to Ward 6, and he actually sang the song again, Kill the Boer, Kill the Farmer. But he also did speak about Donald Trump asking for his arrest. That's the clip that we played for you earlier. And he wonders why would Ramaphosa not tell Donald Trump, you know what, that's not how our constitution works. You just don't arrest someone. This is also a song that has been justified by the court. You remember when we said that Malema had been, he had a court proceeding in regards to this, and the court cleared him, and they said, you know what, there is absolutely nothing wrong with that song. So Malema wonders why Ramaphosa just sat there and watched Donald Trump completely destroy the constitution and the law of governance of South Africa, and he absolutely said nothing about it. But another thing that you remember from that White House visit between Ramaphosa's delegation and Donald Trump is the fact that Elon Musk was right there. And last week we addressed and we were asking, what was Elon Musk doing there? I do remember Trump saying that, you know, he was there for very different activities and agenda, but he happened to be in the same sitting with the journalists and the two delegations. So one of the questions that people would ask is, why was he there? But then you do remember, immediately after that White House visit, there was a conversation on X where people were saying that the only reason why Elon was there is because Starlink needs to be licensed in South Africa. And it looks like Malema made the same observation, and this is what he had to say about Elon Musk and the fact that, again, when you go back to that Oval, the White House visit, you do realize that the only people who spoke from Ramaphosa's delegation were white. So Malema also addressed that, and this is what he had to say.
Today, a tender is given in White House without advertisement, where Rupert stands up and says, why is Elon Musk, Starlink, not given an opportunity in South Africa? Elon Musk's business cannot come to South Africa if it's not compliant with 30% BEE. What he did, Ramaphosa, after they asked him that, the following day, they issue out that they want to relax the BEE deals so that this Starlink can come into South Africa. There is no such a law in South Africa. That Starlink will not come into South Africa if it's not compliant with the BEE. We are not saying 30% must go to one individual. That 30% must go to black people, as many as possible, because we want to benefit from our own economy. Comrades, we must never be dictated to by business. I long told you, South Africa, that we are captured by Ruperts, that our country is run by Ruperts. How can a minister of international relations sit in a meeting, but Malema, Mara no is a good boy, is a what is your problem? The whole Minister of International Relations goes and sits in a meeting that deals with international issues outside the country and never uttered a word. But businessmen, the golf players are speaking, but you, the politician, who's supposed to speak on those matters, you are quiet. Why do you still want to earn a salary after being quiet? Why can't we give this salary to those white people? Because they are the ones who are speaking there. All white people who were in that house from South Africa, all of them spoke. All of them, including John Steinhausen. What gave them the ticket to speak on behalf of our country? It was their color. Only the color of their skin is the one that gave them permission to speak at the White House. Lamula was there. Kumbuzo was even worse. Ukariki kui chechiki metsi. So why should we allow that? Comrades, this country will never be free as long as what 16 does not have clean water.
All right, so that's him, just asking why was even the whole Minister of International Relations there, and that's something that a lot of people have also asked. Why is it that the delegation that Ramaphosa took to White House, why is it that the black people did not speak? Why is it that all the white people, from the Minister of Agriculture to the golf players, why is it that they had something to say, but the same opportunity was not given to the delegation that was sitting right here on the couch? Should they have taken advantage of that opportunity? Should they have said something? But again, we said it was these people were really caught off guard. I don't think they saw this coming. But when confronted with such truths and such actions, then if you are the Minister of International Relations, don't you think that it's time for you to just, step up and say something, But you do remember in the same White House meeting, there were allegations that EFF is actually a very small organization, and this came from, Ramaphosa, and also this would be said by the Minister of Agriculture, where they said we are fighting to make sure that these people don't even get into unions. But Malema obviously did not take that well. He does not like the idea of people defining his party as a small organization, and he actually applauds Trump for reminding people how big EFF is, that it goes even into filling stadiums. This is what he had to say.
And it only took Donald Trump to remind all of you that this is not a small organization. It was Donald Trump who said to Cyril Ramaphosa, you can't say this is a small organization because it is the only organization in South Africa that filled up FNB Stadium. And he said he never saw an empty seat. There were 100,000 people and more at the FNB Stadium. Why would you say yourself, as a fighter and a ground force, that your organization is a dying organization when the White House says this is the biggest organization in Africa and in South Africa? Comrades, they went to White House to complain about you, that you want your land, that you want jobs, that you want the banks and the mines to be returned into the hands of rightful owners. Batsama bo Cyril ba officing ya principala o kare ke matitjhere a tshwere bana ba banyane a re ko bona people are dying in South Africa. Ramaphosa could not defend South Africa.
That's pretty much it. And obviously, we are not yet done with this whole Ramaphosa, Malema, and Donald Trump beef. I was actually checking, and so many people are talking about Malema, and it seems that even what Trump, anticipated, and maybe what he thought would be the outcome of this whole humiliation in White House might be working towards Malema's favor. There are so many people who are now talking about him. There are so many people who are now paying attention to his cause. There are so many people who are paying attention to the movement, and there are so many people who are actually internalizing things for themselves, right? So even as we continue covering this whole Malema, Trump, and Ramaphosa, this whole drama, I would love to hear your views on the same. Today, I do not have reactions to read in regards to the same, but I found some on YouTube, and maybe I should just wind up with 2 or 3, and then you guys can tell me on the comment section what are your genuine thoughts on Malema's clapback towards Ramaphosa and Donald Trump. Let's start with Kamwika, and they said, if the song does not belong in the new South Africa, do the Afrikaners have the right to own more than 70% of the land in South Africa? I believe 70% of the farmland in South Africa. Most people are naive to the fact that liberation movements came into being because of inequality. Brackets, whites chasing blacks from their land. After independence, blacks are still landless. It's not fair. Another person person here said, Mr. Malema, the local and foreign haters are in disbelief that as an African, you are so very intelligent. You have the facts and you know your history. You can speak very well and defend yourself in or outside of a court of law. Keep pushing. Love, peace, and blessings always. Yeah, so a few reactions there, and I know we are going to combine this with a couple of reactions from you on the comment section. But a very valid point there from Kamwika. They said, if this song then, if people are not supposed to sing this song, if people are not supposed to associate themselves with this song, let's say this struggle and liberation song, okay, do away with it, right? Do we also do away with the inequalities that have happened to the black person? I mean, I think their point is very valid, because if you're asking people to stop with what they identify with, then why don't you stop with the inequalities? Why don't you stop with the land injustices? Why don't you do what is right to the people? Why don't you do what is right by the people, instead of you asking some race to give up what they believe in so that you can continue existing towards what you believe in, right? But as always, I'm very much interested with your thoughts. I will keep covering this. I'll keep following it up, and I'll keep updating you guys on what is happening in this whole scenario. But I really loved and appreciated your feedback on our reaction last week, and I really want to take this opportunity to welcome all the new subscribers that we have here from South Africa and from different parts of Africa, different parts of African countries. You really are welcome to this platform. And also those people who have subscribed outside Africa, we hope that we can continue having very impactful conversations, and we can continue having these thought-provoking conversations together. Well, you are at it. Maybe you should take this opportunity and drop me something on the comment section and tell me what other issues in regards to Africa as our continent, what other issues would you want to see us addressing here on this platform. I really do wish you an amazing Monday as we kickstart our week, and I hope I get to see you for the rest of this week as we tackle more meaningful and thought-provoking conversations. Also, don't forget what stood out for you in regards to how Malema clapped back. Do you think he should have been a bit more stronger? Do you think what he said is enough? And also, in regards to this drama, where do you stand? What are your genuine views in regards to the same? Leave that for me on the comment section, and I'll catch you guys hopefully tomorrow 10 a.m. or 7 p.m. Bye-bye.